good day, and it's always a good thing to know a little bit of the history of where you live. And Toledo in Northwest Ohio is full of boring, odd, and even shocking history.
Some good stuff. One man who makes it a point of knowing what happened nearly every day in Toledo history. He may look familiar to you. Lou Hebert joins us this morning. Good to see you, Lou.
Yeah, good to see you.
We miss you around these parts here at WTOL.
I'll have to stop by more often.
Yes, and we love that you came to share your new book with us. This is the second edition in your Toledo history.
Right.
So
Day by day in Toledo.
Yes.
New edition. You know, I published this, actually, the first one about 10 years ago, and then I decided as time went by, I said, you know, there's just a lot of other things I didn't have in the first one. So I decided to fatten it up with about 100 more pages and a lot more photographs, and kind of made some revisions and a little easier formatting, maybe easier to read.
I was looking at that. It looks very easy to read, doesn't it?
Yeah, for all ages as well.
Right. Oh,
day by day. Takes you day by day, as you mentioned, pictures as well. So some of the fattening up that you did, is this have to do with a beloved horse champion trotter?
Right. One of the things I did is add a little bit more about some of the different things and people and events here. And one was Cretius. This was the champion trotter from about 1900. This horse was very, very famous in Toledo and around the world. And it was from Toledo. It was owned by George Ketchum, who of course who built the Valentine Theater. And Cretius was a very famous racehorse, broke the world's record for speed, and yet we don't know that much about him anymore. He's kind of been lost to history.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
Bring him back in.
That's why we have books to catch us up.
That's right. That's right. That's the idea. Yeah.
Let's though talk about some of that shocking history. Unsolved crimes.
Unsolved crimes. Toledo's largest unsolved crime is the clubber, which
that sounds serious.
This was a serial killer in the 1920s, who I think 5 women may have been killed and others attacked in the Old West End, Collingwood area, and it's never been solved. And this was occurred about 1925, 1926, went on for about a year or so, and they brought a lot of different suspects in, and I mean, they had posses roaming the streets at night trying to find this guy, and they never did find him.
Wow. Okay. So but you have been able to find all of this great information. How did you go about compiling these books?
It really comes down to a lot of time spent in front of old newspapers. I mean, that's probably, I could easily say I probably have 2,000 or 3,000 hours just putting, into looking at old newspapers and going through all the Newsbees and the Blades. And then there are other areas where you find the information as well, history books and that type of thing. So.
Oh, you opened a book, right?
Right. And, also talk about the process. Are you collaborating with other folks who maybe are also trying to keep the history alive? Well,
there's a whole core of people here who are involved in local history. And we all sort of know each other and work together. And so, they'll call me from time to time, or I call them. And I've been involved with the Toledo History Museum and the Police Museum. So I've known a lot of people in different areas and other authors. And so we all talk, and we all kind of know each other and respect each other's work.
Very good. There was one of the things that caught my eye too, and of course we have a rich history of automobiles.
Right, absolutely.
In Toledo. Yeah. So you talk a little bit about the Toledo Steamer.
Right. The Toledo Steam automobile was the very first automobile that was produced in Toledo around 1900, early 1900s. That picture that you're looking at right now is the Toledo Steam overlooking the Grand Canyon. It was actually the first automobile ever to make it to the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
Wow, that's a big deal.
So yes, it was, and that's actually a Library of Congress picture. It's a very famous picture. But that's a Toledo Steam.
Toledo, yes.
Yeah. To represent.
Yeah, a lot to be proud of as well. So what do you hope that people, gain from your work here and from this book?
Well, I really hope that people just, if nothing else, just sort of dip their beak into local history a little bit and kind of maybe develop an interest enough that would inspire them to go pick up a book, because that's really bite-sized history, and that was sort of the idea.
It'll get you started.
Right. And it's good for all ages to start reading, and you can always look up, see what happened on your birthday.
Doesn't everybody love that?
Yeah,
what
right.
happened on my birthday?
What happened on my birthday?
Yeah, very good.
So.
Where can, okay, so what happened today? Do you know?
You know what? I haven't even looked.
We got to read the book.
We'll have to look it up. Where can people find it?
A variety of places. We have it at the Tidke's Cafe and Coffee Shop in Monclova. There's also Gathering Volumes in Perrysburg, the Toledo History Museum, Toledo Police Museum, and I'm probably forgetting some, but also you can, by next week probably on Amazon.
Okay, very good. Ides of March, though, right? Today's
Ides of March today,
so
March the 15th. Yeah.
There we go. Oh boy, all right.
Oh boy.
All right, Lou. Thank you so much for coming. Great to see you again today.